the parasitic CBC, which receives $1.5 billion a year from the Canadian taxpayers to spit out absolute propaganda, is now applying to use the LMIA program. The LMIA program allows companies in Canada to apply to hire foreign workers over residents. It's abused like crazy, but if you have a high skill role and you run a Canadian company and you make the claim, I cannot fill a role with a Canadian, you can apply through the LMIA to hire a foreign worker instead. The CBC, the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, which should be named the Canadian Pravda, Canadian Propaganda, because that's absolutely what it is. It's a total embarrassment. They applied last week for 20 roles through the LMIA. And you may say, oh, well, these are highly specialized roles. Maybe it's nearly impossible to find anybody to fit them. Guess what they are? The roles are roles like journalist, web designer, game night technician. These are roles that I can tell you definitively. I've worked in the sports industry for a decade. I can tell you definitively there are thousands of Canadians that would be head over heels to get these roles at the CBC. You know what the CBC is doing? They're saying, we're not hiring Canadian, we're hiring foreigners. No story is a better encapsulation of how traitorous and subverted the CBC has become against the Canadian people. How can it even be legal? I can understand. I think what's happening at Tim Hortons and Wendy's and the like, where all you see is foreign workers in there, is I can understand it. If you're running a private business and the government is putting these ridiculous programs out there to say, we'll pay 50%, we'll pay 75% of the salary if you're willing to hire a foreign worker instead of a Canadian. As a private business owner, I blame the government. I don't blame the Tim Hortons or the Wendy's. But for the CBC to be taking advantage of this program and not hiring Canadian employees when they take $1.5 billion a year from the Canadian taxpayer. In the year 2024, the CBC fired 600 Canadian employees at the same time as they handed out massive bonuses to 20 senior executives. This is disgusting. The CBC should not be receiving one more red cent from the Canadian taxpayer. Now, in addition to being the propaganda outlet they are, check out the cbc.ca. It's literally talking points from Liberals. Liberals deliver them their talking points to say, and that's what they do. There's no debate. The one somewhat conservative reporter that they used to have, Travis Donraj, was summarily fired from his job. I highly suggest that you read the article that he wrote because it's so clear. It's what we can all see, any of us who watch the CBC on a daily basis, but you're essentially not allowed to cover conservative or right-wing politicians in a positive light whatsoever. But the CBC is now going out. They did 20 LMIA applications to hire a web designer, a journalist, a technician. There's about 6 or 7 roles they're looking to fill. None of them, I can tell you with 100% certainty that none of them are roles that could not be filled by Canadian citizens. I can tell you that with 100% certainty. Yet that's what the CBC is doing. And you know what it is? It's ideological capture. It's the only reason. They literally hate Canadians. The left wing has been trained to hate Canadians, as Justin Trudeau would say, old stock Canadians, and they actually prefer to bring in foreigners. It's very similar to why the government prefers to bring so many immigrants, because immigrants aren't going to criticize them. There's study after study after study that shows that immigrants do not criticize the government, are very likely to give backlash to any of the ridiculous policies that are being implemented, while Canadian citizens are likely to do so. This should be front page news. We need to get this blasted far and wide. The CBC receiving $1.5 billion a year from the Canadian taxpayer is now hiring foreign workers over Canadians to save themselves some small percentage of money to pay their senior executives out big bonuses. Enough is enough. This is goddamn ridiculous. This cannot continue like that. They are literally robbing our money and destroying the country. They're probably the biggest reason the Liberals got elected. The level of propaganda being spewed out of that outlet night after night after night, and a large percentage of Canadians buy it hook, line, and sinker. It's disgusting. We need to fight to take Canada back. I'm hosting a rally Saturday, September 13th, Parliament Hill, noon. Take Canada back. Please reach out to me if you're interested in more information. I want to get tens of thousands of patriotic Canadians out there. If you're interested in becoming a member, hit that join button. Please like, subscribe. Really appreciate the support. And if you're watching on TikTok, I'm over 12,000 subscribers now, and the Canadian government is not a big fan of dissidents. So make sure you're following on YouTube, youtube.com/@FightForCanada 2025. Canadian patriots are taking this country back.